The alarm shrieked through the research outpost at 0400 hours, jolting everyone from their sleep. Vrix, the station's head xenobiologist, burst into the monitoring room with his crest fully extended, a sign of extreme agitation among his species, the Catheri. His 4 eyes scanned the screens frantically, each one displaying the same horrifying message: containment breach, juvenile specimens missing. Impossible, Vrix hissed, his translator struggling to convey the depth of his panic. The Zarathian cubs were sedated. The barriers were triple locked. How could they— Commander, we need to find them now, interrupted Dr. Shell, the Molluscan security chief, her tentacles coiling with anxiety. Those aren't domesticated creatures. They're apex predators from a death world. Even as juveniles, they could tear through most species like wet tissue. Rix knew she was right. Zarathian predators came from a planet with 1.8 gravity and an atmosphere thick with volcanic sulfur. They evolved to hunt prey that could shatter bones with a kick. The 2 cubs, barely 3 months old but already the size of Earth's great cats, had been rescued from poachers and brought to the outpost for rehabilitation. Now they were loose among a crew of 73 researchers from 12 different species, none of whom were built to survive an encounter with frightened, confused predator cubs. "Wake everyone," Vrix commanded. "Containment teams to stations. And someone find the human." "The human?" Dr. Shell's eye stalks swiveled. "Why would we need her?" "Because," Vrix said grimly, "Ilara's quarters are in Section C right next to the nursery wing." Ilara was already awake when the security team reached her door. She sat cross-legged on her bunk in the cramped quarters, wearing a worn sleep shirt and scratching her head with the bleary confusion of someone roused too early. The human was unremarkable by her species standards: average height, average build, with dark hair pulled into a messy ponytail. She'd been with the outpost for 6 months as a junior botanist, quiet and unassuming. "Dr. Chun," Vrix said, using her formal title despite the circumstances, "we have a situation. 2 Zarathian cubs have escaped containment. Have you seen or heard anything unusual?" Ilara blinked slowly, then tilted her head. "You mean the fuzzy babies? The ones that look like saber-toothed tigers mixed with bears?" "Those are not babies, Dr. Chun. They are lethal." "Yeah, they're in my sleeping bag." Silence crashed through the corridor like a physical force. They single quotes what? Vrix's translator actually stuttered. Ilara gestured casually toward the corner of her quarters. "In my sleeping bag. They wandered in a couple hours ago through the air vent. I think they were cold or scared or something. They've been asleep for a while now. Listen." And there it was, soft, rhythmic snoring emanating from a lumpy, olive-green sleeping bag crumpled in the corner. As the security team watched in frozen disbelief, the bag shifted slightly, and a massive polyp with claws that could eviscerate hull plating flopped out, twitching in some predatory dream. "Dr. Chun," Rick said very carefully, "please step away from that sleeping bag slowly." "Why?" Ilara looked genuinely confused. "They're just sleeping. They are apex predators from a Class 4 death world." Dr. Shell's translator actually squeaked with the volume of her distress. "They could kill you in seconds!" Ilara scratched her neck. "I mean, they're babies, though. They were crying when they came in, made these little chirping sounds. Sounded lonely," she shrugged, "so I let them cuddle up. They settled down pretty quick once they got warm." Vrix felt every survival instinct in his evolutionary history screaming at him. Humans, he'd learned in his xenopsychology courses, came from Earth, a planet so catastrophically hostile that it had produced thousands of apex predators, any one of which could dominate most civilized worlds. Humans had climbed to the top of that nightmare ecosystem not through claws or venom, but through sheer, terrifying stubbornness and pack-bonding instincts so powerful they'd domesticated wolves. Wolves! Creatures that hunted in coordinated packs and could bite through bone. And humanity's response had been, "Let's make them into pets and call them good boys." "Dr. Chun," Rick said slowly, "did you just adopt 2 Zarathian predator cubs?" "Adopt? No. Ilara waved her hand dismissively. "I just let them sleep somewhere safe. They're stressed, obviously. Probably traumatized from the poachers. They needed comfort, not tranquilizers and force fields." As if summoned by her words, one of the cubs stirred. Its head emerged from the sleeping bag, a magnificent creature with midnight blue fur striped with silver, fangs the length of human fingers, and eyes like molten copper. It yawned, displaying a mouth designed to crush spine and skull. Then it saw Ilara. The cub chirped, a sound utterly incongruous from such a deadly creature, and scrambled out of the sleeping bag, trailing fabric. It bounded over to the human and flopped against her side, purring like a reactor core. Ilara absently scratched behind its tufted ears. See, total sweetheart. The second cub emerged, saw its sibling receiving affection, and immediately bulldozed over to demand its share, nearly knocking Ilara flat. She laughed, and wrapped her arms around both cubs as they rumbled and chirped and competed for her attention. Rix's crest flattened completely, the Catheri equivalent of fainting. I don't understand, Dr. Shell whispered. By every biological metric, she should be dead. They should have recognized her as prey. Small, soft, no natural defenses, ... But Vrix was beginning to understand. He'd studied Earth's history, read the reports about humanity's bizarre relationship with danger. They'd seen creatures that could kill them and thought friend. They'd taken apex predators into their homes, their families, their hearts. They'd domesticated aurochs into cattle, wolves into dogs, wildcats into companions. They looked at the universe's nightmares and saw potential for connection. It wasn't logic. It wasn't strategy. It was something far more powerful and far more terrifying, unconditional empathy. Dr. Chun, Vrix finally said, would you be willing to assist with the cub's rehabilitation? It appears they've bonded with you. Ilara brightened. Really? That would be amazing. I think they just need someone who doesn't treat them like monsters. They're just scared kids, you know? As the security team retreated, Vrix heard Ilara cooing to the cubs in that inexplicable language humans used for creatures they cared for. The two deadliest juvenile predators in the sector purred in response, curled around their human, utterly content. The rest of the galaxy might fear death worlds and their inhabitants. But perhaps Vrix thought they had it backwards. Perhaps the truly terrifying thing about humans wasn't their capacity for violence. It was their infinite capacity for love,